saying that I'm streaming, and I don't know if I am. Ah, here we go. Is this good things? Good things. Are we positive? Let's see. Let's see if this is working. I have people texting me now. I'm just gonna sip my... Hi! Oh my gosh, I'm like super delayed. Hi, can you see me, self? Okay, so... okay, I can see myself now, so I think we're okay. But hi, people. I think I'm live here. I may have just completely messed up the entire live stream. So I'm really excited, and hopefully we will have some people joining us here in a few minutes. But I wanted to kind of talk about some social media stuff today, talk about social reach, talk about some basic YouTube, fun YouTube things. So I'm going to go ahead and share the link real quick for the channel, and I'm going to go ahead and tweet it out, and that way people can see it. I've already posted it on Facebook. I'm asking people to use the hashtag Let's Get Digital. So if you're watching this from anywhere or anything, and you want to use the hashtag Let's Get Digital and ask questions, you can definitely do so. Like I said, this is basically a trial run to see about if I like it. And to see how it all works. And so we did this with one other company. I was explaining, before the live stream cut out about halfway through, I was explaining that I actually have done this before for a previous live stream with a company that I worked for a while back. And I don't know what just happened. Somebody just cut out and said that it was watching. I'm not sure why. Playback discontinued for me, so I can't tell if I'm actually live or not anymore. My encoder completely just cut out. So if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, if you can comment and let me know, either comment or send it in chat or put it on Facebook, tweet at me. I'm going to put my Twitter handle in the description. So if you have any idea if you're watching this, this is going to be on my YouTube channel, by the way. So this is really professional. I'm very happy with myself. But yeah, if you have specific questions, feel free to put it down below. If not, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start talking about social reach, social media, things like that, because I've had a lot of people ask me over the past few weeks and past few months, why is personal branding important? Why do I need to have a website when I graduate from school? Why do I need to do X, Y, and Z? The truth is that personal branding is insanely important, especially if you're going to into any sort of creative branding, any sort of marketing, any sort of communications. Having a personal brand online is absolutely imperative. Creating your own website, making sure your social media is clean, making sure your social media is pretty much the most professional version of yourself without making yourself look boring. I think for me, something that I really learned in college was that I could not post pictures of myself doing weird things or anything like that. I had to keep it professional. A personal brand and what you put online is all about making sure that you're putting your best foot forward. You're putting the best possible version of yourself on the internet. And that's what I've done. This is obviously not my best personal self. This is just kind of a casual moment to kind of talk to friends and family. And so I just got a notification from a few friends. So basically what is happening as far as this whole live stream is to basically talk about that, talking about professionalism on the internet and basically talking about your personal branding and your social reach. So basically to kind of touch on personal branding yet again, personal branding is something that you want to put out online. So having a website, having social media, it's all going to increase your chances of finding a better job, chances of finding better people to kind of spend your time with in the creative sphere, to network with, to provide that kind of experience online, I think is really important. To create a community of people and have that kind of that experience. I think for me, that was kind of the most important part of building my personal brand online, is posting things that are intentional, authentic to who I am, less of trying to just look like I'm having a great time and more of trying to build a brand for myself, even if I'm not a company, even if I'm not somebody who's a professional blogger or anything like that, but putting things out on the internet that kind of make sense for me to be posting. Nothing that would make me seem out of the ordinary. Not that I'm out of the ordinary at all, but I wanted to provide my personal best on the internet, because even if people don't know me personally, I wanted them to see their first impression of me is what they're seeing on the internet. That includes employers, things like that. I actually had somebody in a job interview slide a picture of me from 8th grade, like across the table on their phone, and they said, "Is this you?" And it was the most uncomfortable I think I've ever been, but it definitely proved the point of that you really have to put your best foot forward. And you really have to make sure that you're providing the best possible self, your best possible self on the internet. And so I'm really excited to be able to talk about that, because so many teenagers and college students don't understand the importance of personal branding and the real kind of science behind it. I think it's really exciting that we live in a world where this is now something that we get to focus on and that we kind of have to focus on. I had a friend of mine one time, who was planning on running for office one day, and he made the comment that he was just like, well, nobody's going to look at what I posted when I was 18 years old. The truth is nothing's private anymore. Nothing on the internet is going to stay private forever. So I kind of explained that to him, and I said, somebody's going to pull out a Snapchat of you when you were 18 years old and is going to post it all over the internet the second you announce your candidacy for president. And he kind of chuckled, and then like 2 weeks later, somebody posted a picture of him from like 8th grade formal that had been on his MySpace page and he hadn't seen in years. So it's really exciting and a pretty cool time for us to live in and to be able to share these experiences. And so that was a big part of what I wanted to share, is that this is an opportunity for us to be able to be a collaborative group. And this is a great time in our generation and millennium for us to collaborate online and to share things online. And so I wanted to answer a few questions about personal branding that I got via email. I'm pulling them up right now. My phone went into dead mode. So, okay. So one of the questions I got was, I'm not sure where to start when it comes to building a website. How do you think that I should do that? So kind of the best thing about our world now is that you can build a website for relatively cheap. I built my first website when I was in 6th grade. It was for an organization that it didn't really exist, and it was for like an event that we were going to do, and I built it on like freewebs.com. But nowadays, it's actually really easy to build websites. There's plenty of hosting services that you can go online and build yourself. It's relatively easy to teach yourself. The first website that I ever built for my resume and for like a professional thing, I think I built it my freshman year of college, and I was using like a Wix.com account. That's a really great option if you're looking for something free. And it'll have in the URL code, it'll have Wix.com. But you can always pay to have your own. And even domains now are relatively affordable. Right now I own 6 different domains, and they were about like $3 a piece. And I own them. Some of them are mine. Some of them are like friends that I'm building websites for. And then I have hosting services for all of them, which it costs about $15 total for me to host a website for a year. GoDaddy is a great site, of course, to go to, and they usually run sales on their WordPress software, things like that. If you're looking for a really easy way to do it and to build your own brand, if you're just looking for a job, that's a really great way to do it. I don't suggest, if you're trying to build a company out of it, I don't suggest that be the only thing you go for. But if you're just starting out and you want to kind of see what's out there, that's a great option. And then you can always watch YouTube videos to teach you how to do it, or find a service. There is a service in Charlotte that I went to for some career counseling and got to meet some really cool people and do a little bit of networking. And they do that. They build websites for college students that are looking for jobs. And I'm going to include their information if you're interested. But if you're ever interested in that information, you can always find someone close to you that'll do it. If you really don't know what to do. So then the next question that I had, how absolutely imperative is it for you to have a positive social media timeline? Social media timeline. I definitely like to express my opinions, but I don't know how it'll be received in the public space. Okay, so I'm going to kind of twist this question a little bit. So to have a positive impact on the internet, it's really important because if you're posting a lot of very opinionated and polarizing views, it's great. I mean, free speech, obviously. But if you're trying to go into a field, say that you're super conservative, but you're going into a highly liberal field, that can sometimes affect job decisions, things like that. Unfortunately, that's just the world that we live in. I don't say at all, like, don't not post your views, but remember that everything that you post will be looked at by someone else, and sometimes people won't agree with you. And unfortunately, that can sometimes affect job decisions, that can affect relationships. And people nowadays are getting really sensitive about that. So I highly suggest, if you are going to be going into any sort of field, to definitely remember who you're going to be posting, who your audience is. Keeping it positive on the internet is never a bad thing. It doesn't mean live in blissful ignorance, but it definitely does mean making sure that you're promoting the most positive thing that you can promote. So I'm going to do a quick thing real quick because I've had a few people comment and text me saying that the stream is glitching out, but I'm just going to pause it real quick. Let's see if it... I don't know what's going on with it. Okay. This may work. So... Okay, so the next question on here is, you keep talking about social reach. What is that? So the social reach, basically what your social reach is it's the amount of people that see what you post. It's your public, it's your audience. So when you post something on the internet, it is not just seen by your friends. It has a social reach. So your social reach is essentially the number of people who will see a post within a certain time frame. Normally, that's usually within 24 hours. On Facebook, on Twitter, things like that, your social reach can be anything from like 15 minutes to, 6 hours, something like that. I know for me, my social reach is about 2,000 people, give or take, because that includes my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Tumblr. I used to have a Reddit. I don't have a Reddit account anymore that I post on actively. That also includes any of my websites, my blog. That's a big part about it, is that you total up the number of people that you have and then you divide it by the number of accounts you have, and that is normally about what your social reach will be. People who are actively engaging online, people who are actively watching what you're doing, people who are actively commenting. Normally you can take the number of likes that you get, you can figure that into it as well. A lot of it is just a bunch of random things that kind of combine together. But you always will have a social reach if you have any social media. That's kind of the rule of thumb. If you have at least one friend, chances are you have 6 friends on top of it. Someone's normal social reach, I say 2,000, but it's definitely more on like the 6,000 mark, because it's 2,000 because that's my average. That's the number of people who will most likely see anything that I post. Because I've built my brand to be that way, is that I want to have a lot of people engage with my products or engage with what I'm posting. If you heard that, that's a text message. I want people to engage with what I'm doing and with what I'm saying. So of course my social reach is going to be a lot higher than that of somebody who isn't using social media for a company or social media for a personal brand or anything like that. So a lot of it's basically your posting, the people that you have engaging and looking at your information. That's really what your social reach is. And how your personal brand connects to it is that if you're building a personal brand online, you want people to engage with you. You want people to comment on your things and to create a valid discussion and a conversation. you want people to have that engagement with you. If you don't have engagement on any of your social media channels, why do you have engagement at all? Why do you have social media at all? That was a big thing for me when I started going on job interviews, is that people were kind of asking me, oh, well, what's your social reach? What are you planning on doing with this? What do you want to do with this? Are you creating your own company? Are you doing that or that? And it's really good to have those conversations, because if you're creating and building a huge social reach, you will have a large social platform. A large social platform essentially means that you have the ability to reach a lot of people with a particular intention or an authenticity, which is what I want to do. My social platform is I want to encourage education for women. So every once in a while, I will push out a post or do different things that'll really encourage that global education mindset. Or I will do a post about feminism, or I'll do a post about, basic education rights or things like that. That is my social platform. Now, you can have a social platform of just climate change, or you could have a social platform of just respecting your parents, or social platform of just being decent to one another. That is essentially what you want your social platform to be. There are social media platforms, which is different, which is like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Tumblr, YouTube, things like that. The different side of it. But that's the actual platforms themselves, and not kind of the overarching thing of social influence. There's a lot to it. A lot that I can't fit in a matter of a 30-minute long live stream, which we only have, I think, 13 minutes left. But I wanted to touch on too, I got an email here. Let's see here. I should have had all of these pulled up, but I got another email here. Just kind of a basic question, kind of, sorry, there's like a lot included in the email, and then there's like a little bit of like an actual person. Like an actual question. So tell me a little bit more about why you feel that social media is being abused in the world today. So this question I've talked about a lot with friends and family and people we've had this social media discussion. I don't think social media is being abused. I think that it's just not being used in the way that it could be. Social media is a huge, powerful tool. It's so influential, and it has the ability to really change the way we live. And unfortunately, right now, it's being used in a way that's not positive. It's spreading a lot of drama. It's spreading a lot of negative opinions. And it has the potential to create some really great conversations and really change the world. But unfortunately, not everybody agrees with that, and not everybody has that same potential. So I think that it's not necessarily that social media is being abused. I just think that it's not being used the way it could be. And so another question a friend of mine asked me the other day, this was just in passing, was tips and tricks to social media itself, getting more views, getting more followers, things like that. The truth is create content. I kind of brag about being a content creator. Although I'm not really a content creator. Content creators are people online who create content in some form of fashion, whether it's blogging, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Vimeo, we have people who post on Reddit, on Tumblr, and just do random posts. It's anybody who's creating content in the space. It's known as artists, writers, things like that. So I consider myself a content creator because that's what I do for my side job, is I create content to post online for clients and companies. I write blog posts, I manage social media accounts, things like that. I do that as like my side job. And I kind of do that kind of full time too. And so content creation is really important to companies and to groups of people. And so when we talk about content creating, and when you're wanting to become more prominent in social media, and you're wanting to become somebody who is more prominent in the internet space, you want to continuously create content that is influential, that has a purpose, that promotes a platform, that benefits you in some way, but also benefits someone else. Because people will invest in your content if you invest in them. You can invest in them by engaging with them online, by commenting, by following. I hate people who do the follow and then unfollow. Never do the follow unfollow. It's so annoying. I know a lot of companies do that because they want to really gauge followers very quickly, and they want to get a lot of followers and hope to God that people will all, follow them all at once. The truth is if you do that, people become very disinterested in your company because they see what you're doing. For example, if I look at my Instagram right now, the number of spam accounts that have followed and then unfollowed me is ridiculous. I can go from, 200 additional followers a day. Suddenly those 200 followers unfollowed me in 2 minutes. And they go from having 16,000 people that they follow to having 800, because they go through and they unfollow everybody. So it makes them look like they have a huge following. Don't be one of those people. It's great to, gauge followers really quickly and to get them engaged with your content, but it also kind of puts a bad taste in their mouth. So that's one tip that I have. If you're looking for a lot of people to follow you, the best way to do it is to create content that is intentional online, that people really like reading, that people really enjoy being around, that people really like to say, oh, I follow this person online. That's why dog accounts are so popular, is because they create content that people really like. The same with blogs and things like that. People are creating content and putting things out there. So if you really want a lot of followers, if you're trying to create that kind of platform and that kind of influence, you really want to make sure that you're creating content that has intention behind it. So I'm going to go ahead while we have a few minutes left and check a few different places and see what we have here. See what we've got. By the way, if you haven't already, I highly encourage you to go watch the Elevation Church Code Orange revival. It was really good. I was watching it right before this. If you want, you can just finish watching this video and go watch that right now. But one of the questions that I actually had texted me earlier today was, so I see you post a lot of content online. However, it does seem like it comes and goes and it's not consistent. How do you feel that someone else who wants to do the same kinds of things keep it consistent, as well as making sure that they keep true to themselves? The truth is the reason why I don't post consistently is because I do want to stay true to myself. I don't want to post things that are not what I want to post. I don't want to post a blog post just to post it, especially since I'm not a company, since I'm not somebody who is making money off of what I post. I used to make some additional gas money off of it, but since I'm not actually putting a lot of money towards it or anything like that, I don't want to post things that are not authentic to who I am. That's a big part of why I don't post every day, is because when I feel really inspired to write, I'll write it, because I don't want to associate myself with bad content, which is a really big part about it. There are so many great people who are bloggers who can sit down and write 2 or 3 posts a week, and then can be posting on Instagram every single day. They can go on the weekends and completely throw themselves into it. A lot of why I don't do that is because I really want to focus on my clients and the people that I'm working for. And for me, that's really throwing myself into their work. And so for me, I want to go and I want to stay true to who I am and throw myself into their work and not cut corners for them or for myself or for my own brand and not put that content out. So I think the best part about it is to just be fearless about it. I was terrified to do this live stream. If you really want to go for it, and if you really want to, put a blog out, start making YouTube videos, do it. The most unfortunate part about our society today is people will comment and they will tell you that it's not a good idea. When I first started blogging, I was blogging about things I knew about, which is a big part about blogging, is I was blogging about the things I knew. I was blogging about the things that I understood. And a lot of people, I believe, I think it was probably about 3 months into me blogging, somebody made a comment to one of my friends, and it eventually got back around to me because a lot of people agreed with it. They commented and they were like, well, I don't know why she's posting about all of this stuff when she's not involved in it anymore. Or I don't understand this or that. And I remember just kind of sitting and being like, but that's what I know. That's who I am. I want to post about this kind of stuff. And I stopped posting because I was no longer being happy posting about it because I always felt fearful that somebody was judging me. And most recently, I've had a lot of conversations with other bloggers, with other creators, and they really told me, they said, sometimes you just have to ignore it because those people don't care. Those people are not the ones who are reading what you're writing. They're not reading what you're making. They're not watching what you're doing. They're just there to complain, or they're there just to kind of bring you down, or they're not really seeing that you're passionate about what you're doing. So if you're really excited about getting to do something, or if you're really excited about going and starting your own blog, or going and starting a YouTube channel, or becoming your own personal brand, or starting a company, really put your heart and soul into it. And if people start getting you down and complaining about it and not really wanting to be a part of it, they don't have to watch it. They don't have to read it. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give if you're wanting to do your own personal brand, is stay true to who you are, and just, if other people don't want to read your stuff, they don't have to read your stuff. I think that's the biggest thing, is that I really tried to keep my brand as who I am. That's where Weekday Vibes came from, and that's now where Blair Creative is coming from, is the ability to really just throw myself at the wall and hope that it sticks, and really being able to do what I want to do and what I love to do. And so I really want to say thank you guys to everybody who's watching. I've had a few people who have messaged me. I have like random people like messaging me on Facebook. I've had a few people reach out and say some really great things. And if you're interested in having some social media help, or just additional tips and tricks, you can go down below. I've got my email address down below. And on Sunday night, that will be on September 11th, 2016, I will be launching my new website for Blair Creative. That's my creative company. It encompasses my photography that I started probably now about 9 years ago. My photography stuff that I started about 9 years ago. It encompasses social media, web design, everything like that. It isn't something where it's a huge company where you can like hire me to do your social media for a Fortune 100 company, but it's definitely something where I want to help people find the right people. It's a place where you can go if you have nowhere else to go. I'm going to be doing some training stuff online. The next live stream that I'm going to be doing is going to be much more professional. It's not going to be super last minute. And it'll be a way for you to learn about how you can actually do things on Facebook and Twitter, how you can actually do a live stream yourself on YouTube. I'm going to be giving a few tutorials just to kind of share the knowledge. And that's what Blair is all about, is kind of sharing what I know with people, and helping people build what they want. And if I can't do it for you, I will find somebody who will. That's kind of the best part about it, is that if I don't have the capabilities to do it, which is kind of hard because a lot of the time I do, but if I don't have the capabilities to do it, I will help you find someone who will. I'll help you get connected. I'll help find resources and find the people who can help you make your dreams come true and achieve your goals as a business or as a person. Even if you're looking for the dream job, I actually met with a company who does that here in Charlotte, and they're absolutely incredible. I will refer her name all over the city. But if you are looking for that kind of help, I'm always happy to help, and if you can always reach out to me. So Sunday night at midnight is when the site is going live. I'm going to be linking things all over social media, and I hope that you'll check the site out. It'll have contact links, ways that you can get in touch with me, projects that I've worked on in the past, and I'm so excited to be able to do it. If you have other questions, you can always comment on this page. You can also find me at Blair Creative on Facebook, Blair Creative on Twitter, and Maggie Pendergrass on Instagram, as well as Blair Creative on Instagram as well, but that account is kind of slowly coming together. But you can always find me on any of those accounts. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're watching this the day after, have happy trails and have a great day. And I'm, of course, delayed now because it's not stopping. It was supposed to stop like 2 minutes ago. But yeah, have a great night.